Have you ever spent hours learning something only to forget most of it a week later? You read books, watch videos, take courses, but when you try to recall the information, it's gone. It's frustrating. You're putting in the effort, but your brain isn't keeping what you're learning. Here's the truth. Forgetting isn't a flaw in your brain. It's how your brain is designed to work. But there are specific, scientifically proven techniques that work with your brain's natural memory systems to help you remember everything important you learn today. You're going to learn exactly how memory works and the practical strategies that ensure what you learn actually stays with you for life. Let's start with why forgetting happens. Your brain is constantly bombarded with information. Every second, millions of sensory inputs compete for attention. If your brain tried to remember everything, it would be overwhelmed. So it has a filtering system. Most information goes into short-term memory, where it stays for seconds or minutes, then disappears forever. Only information that meets certain criteria gets transferred to long-term memory, where it can be stored for years or even a lifetime. Here's the problem. Your brain decides what's important based on evolutionary priorities, not your learning goals. Your brain prioritizes information tied to survival or strong emotions, information that's repeated frequently, information that's connected to existing knowledge, information that you actively use. If you passively read or watch something once, your brain assumes it's not important, so it deletes it. This is called the forgetting curve, discovered by psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus in the 1880s. He found that within 24 hours, you forget about 70% of new information. Within a week, you've forgotten nearly 90%. But here's the good news. You can hack this system. When you understand how memory works, you can use specific techniques to move information from temporary storage into permanent memory. For information to stick long-term, 3 things must happen. Key 1, encoding. This is how information enters your brain. The quality of encoding determines whether you'll remember it later. Passive encoding, just reading or listening, is weak. Active encoding, engaging deeply with the material, is strong. Key 2, consolidation. This is when your brain transfers information from short-term to long-term. Consolidation happens primarily during sleep and during rest periods after learning. Key 3, retrieval. This is pulling information back out of memory when you need it. And here's the critical insight. Retrieval strengthens memory. Every time you successfully recall something, it becomes easier to recall next time. This is why testing yourself is more effective than rereading. Retrieval practice literally rewires your brain. Most people focus on encoding, consuming more content, and ignore consolidation and retrieval. That's why they forget. The secret to remembering everything is optimizing all 3. Encode actively, consolidate intentionally, and practice retrieval regularly. Passive learning doesn't work. You need to engage actively with information. Here are the most effective active learning techniques. Technique 1, the Feynman technique. Explain what you're learning in simple words as if teaching a child. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. Gaps in your explanation show gaps in your knowledge. This forces deep processing, which creates strong memory traces. Technique 2, connect to what you already know. Your brain remembers new information by linking it to existing knowledge. Always ask, how does this relate to something I already know? What does this remind me of? The more connections you create, the easier it is to recall later. Technique 3, create mental images. Your brain remembers images far better than words. Turn abstract concepts into vivid mental pictures. The weirder and more exaggerated, the better. Technique 4, ask questions while learning. Don't just absorb passively. Ask questions. Why is this true? How does this work? What would happen if this changed? How can I apply this? Questions force your brain to think deeply, which strengthens encoding. Technique 5, take notes by hand. Research shows handwritten notes lead to better retention than typed. Why? Writing by hand is slower, forcing you to process and synthesize information rather than transcribing mindlessly. When you actively engage with material instead of passively consuming it, your brain treats it as important and worth remembering. Here's one of the most powerful memory techniques ever discovered: spaced repetition. Remember the forgetting curve? You forget most information quickly unless you review it. But here's the key: the timing of review matters enormously. If you review too soon, it's a waste of time. The information is still fresh. If you review too late, you've already forgotten it and have to relearn from scratch. Spaced repetition means reviewing information just before you forget it. Here's the optimal review schedule. First review, 1 day after learning. Second review, 3 days after first review. Third review, 7 days after third review. Fourth review, 14 days after third review. Fifth review, 30 days after fourth review. Each time you successfully recall information, the interval before the next review gets longer. Eventually, the information becomes permanent with minimal review. This works because each retrieval strengthens the memory pathway. You're literally rewiring your brain to make recall easier. Apps like Anki use spaced repetition algorithms to automate this process, but you can also do it manually with flashcards or a simple notebook system. The principle is the same. Review just before forgetting, and you'll remember forever.
Here's something most people ignore. You don't just learn while you're awake, you learn while you sleep. During sleep, your brain replays what you learned during the day and transfers it from temporary to permanent storage. This process is called memory consolidation, and it's essential. Studies show that people who sleep after learning retain significantly more than people who stay awake. Even a 20-minute nap after studying improves memory retention. Here's how to optimize sleep for memory. Strategy 1. Learn before sleep. Your brain consolidates recent memories during sleep. Learning right before bed gives your brain fresh material to process. Strategy 2. Get enough quality sleep. 7 to 9 hours is ideal. During deep sleep and REM sleep, memory consolidation happens most powerfully. Sleep deprivation destroys memory formation. You can study for hours, but if you don't sleep, much of it won't stick. Strategy 3. Take study breaks with short naps. A 10 to 20-minute nap after a learning session enhances consolidation without making you groggy. Strategy 4. Don't cram before important tests. Cramming all night means no sleep, which means poor consolidation. You'd be better off studying less and sleeping more. Your brain does critical memory work while you're unconscious. Respect this process, and your retention will skyrocket. Here's a counterintuitive truth. Testing yourself is more effective than studying. Most people study by rereading notes or reviewing materials. This feels productive, but creates weak memory. Why? Because recognition, seeing information again, is easy. Recall, pulling information from memory, is hard. But recall is what strengthens memory. This is called the testing effect or retrieval practice. Every time you force your brain to retrieve information, you strengthen the neural pathways that store that information. The harder you have to work to recall something, the stronger the memory becomes. Here's how to implement retrieval practice. Method 1. Flashcards. Write questions on one side, answers on the other. Force yourself to recall before flipping. Method 2. Practice tests. After learning something, close your notes and test yourself. Write down everything you remember. Method 3. Teach someone else. Explaining concepts to others forces complete retrieval without prompts. Method 4. The blank page method. After a learning session, take a blank page and write everything you remember without looking at notes. Method 5. Spaced quizzing. Quiz yourself at increasing intervals, the same schedule as spaced repetition. The discomfort you feel when struggling to remember, that's your brain building stronger memory pathways. Don't avoid the struggle, embrace it. That's where real learning happens. Remembering everything you learn requires a system, not just effort. Here's a simple but powerful memory system you can build. Component 1. Capture system. Use a notebook, note-taking app, or digital system to capture key ideas as you learn. Don't try to remember everything. Externalize it. Component 2. Review schedule. Set specific times to review. Daily review, 10 minutes. Weekly review, 30 minutes. Monthly review, 1 hour. During reviews, quiz yourself on what you've learned. Component 3. Connection journal. Keep a journal where you connect new learning to existing knowledge, personal experiences, or other concepts. These connections are memory anchors. Component 4. Application log. Track how you've applied what you've learned in real life. Using knowledge cements it permanently. Component 5. Spaced repetition tool. Use an app like Anki or a manual flashcard system to implement spaced repetition for critical knowledge. When these components work together, you create a system where information flows from temporary to permanent memory systematically. You're not relying on memory alone. You're building an external system that supports your internal memory. Most people confuse consuming information with learning. They read books, watch videos, attend courses, and forget 90% of it within a week. Real learning isn't about how much you consume, it's about how much you retain and can use. You don't need to learn more, you need to remember more of what you learn. And now you know how. Engage actively, space your reviews, sleep well, test yourself constantly, build a system. These aren't tricks, they're how memory actually works. Start today. Pick one thing you're trying to learn. Apply these techniques. In 1 month, you'll be amazed at what you remember. Your brain is capable of extraordinary memory. You just need to work with it, not against it. Everything important you learn can stay with you forever. Now you know how to make that happen.